Look, man, we'll end the show with this, Shasky. I know you feel good. I feel good. It's a victory Monday. They lost Trey Lance. They've lost Jimmy Garoppolo. It stinks. But ain't nobody saying the season's over here.
No.
We're just taking it week by week.
Yeah.
It's Brock's time. I was impressed with him yesterday. I'm going to ride with the young fella out of Iowa State. I know what I said in the preseason. I'm riding with him. But you know what? He doesn't have to win the game. Just do your job. Do your job. Because this defense can take you to special places. This defense is special. You don't want to waste that. Don't turn the ball over. Get the ball to the playmakers. Shanahan's coaching his ass off. D'Amico's coaching his ass off. The season's far from over. Go out there and win the division. Get that red paint in the end zone. And it's still Operation Glendale.
I think the same things apply. Like, again, obviously Jimmy's better than Brock Purdy to this moment, from what we've seen. But, like, the same rules apply for this team. They ask the least of their quarterback of all of the teams, quote-unquote, in contention. And the way that they play the game, I think fits, I guess, what Brock's looking to do right now. Get the ball out quickly, hand the ball off, play within yourself. Don't try to do too much. Eliminate the amount of turnover-worthy plays and play complementary football to this elite defense.
No doubt. No doubt. Now let's bring in the boys. Willard and Dibbs, fresh off a nice little weekend. What's up, boys?
How we doing?
Conflicted.
You all right?
It's a great win, but then you obviously feel gutted for Jimmy.
No, I appreciate it, and I appreciate my mental health check that you called for about an hour and a half ago. I was cooking a breakfast sandwich right when you said it. Everything is fine.
Eating.
Everything always eating.
I like that.
Yeah, AE, man, always eating. Not account executive. It's always eating. But anyway, fine, absolutely fine. Like, look, you have to actually. Remember that article that came out yesterday? I think not yesterday. A few days ago, Mike Silver wrote an article, and it was about Jimmy G staying in the moment. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how you have to be with this whole thing. So, if you don't let yourself get caught up in, well, can they still win the Super Bowl? And I know we're going to ask that question today, and that's totally fair. But we don't really have any information yet. The only information we have on Brock Purdy is good. Like, he responded to a moment that a lot of people can't respond to. He was composed, and this is one thing I know football players ask about each other. Like, you're never going to know if the backup is ready until that bell rings. You can't simulate it in practice. You can't. The bell rung, and it was like, okay, is he going to freak out with the red light on?
Yeah.
No, the opposite happened. That's check mark one.
And you can see it in all pro sports,
to go.
But I think that there's no more brighter spotlight of can he do it than the quarterback in the National Football League. Like, you talk about young basketball players. It's like, can he do what he did in college? And then you see over the course of a period of time, it's like, man, that didn't translate. That pick was probably bad. Baseball, you see it. You see guys come up and not be able to hang and then go back down and be able to right the ship and come back up and do it. But other guys, we know many a giant, it's like, oh, my God, you're a 4A player at best. And so what I saw from Brock Purdy yesterday was a guy who came in with the IDGAF attitude of
he's ready.
Exactly. I mean, he might as well have been playing football at Perry High School back in Arizona again.
I didn't have Perry High School on my chessboard.
That's coming up.
We've got
more, and I don't mean to steal the tease, but my guy Mark Willard
went down the rabbit hole.
Way down the rabbit hole. We'll have his Pop Warner. I got a line on his Pop Warner coach.
No
Guys,
way.
I have his Pop Warner coach.
No, we got
his Pop Warner QB coach.
We got a former 49er, Adam Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Snyder.
Ex-left guard, swing tackle.
You remember him.
And ex-offensive line coach at Perry High School.
Oh,
number 68, right?
I was just going to say 68.
When his quarterback was
Jock Purdy champ.
Brock Purdy.
Nice.
Brock Purdy. Speaking of Jock Purdy, I do notice that Brock Purdy rhymes with Jock Purdy.
Oh,
that's a solid four.
Yeah, I was immediately when I saw him yesterday, I go, oh, there might be something going on here. Kid's name rhymes with Jock Purdy.
This is Brock Purdy. Meow, 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 meow.
We'll see. Look around the NFL. You don't know where your quarterbacks are coming from. You really don't. So I have no idea what this guy's going to be. He's going to play a guy next week who is known as the greatest of all time and actually came from a similar place as far as his draft position and all of that. I have no idea. You can go around like we just had a number 1 overall pick 3 years ago, just got released 45 minutes ago. Jalen Hurts is a third rounder, and he's a star. Was he second?
Second round.
Anyway, whatever.
But he was also one of the top high school players coming out.
No
played
doubt.
on 2 premier
All
organizations.
these guys were great in high school and college, and I understand. Like, your greatness usually comes from the top 15 picks of the first round, but Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes had other quarterbacks taken in front of them. Like, you don't know where your players are coming from. I'm not saying that's this guy by any stretch, but I'm certainly curious to watch him play now after the way he looked yesterday.
And a lot of it is system and situation, too. And think about Baker Mayfield, the aforementioned #1 overall, who's now been released, and he's been discarded twice. He was in Cleveland, disaster of an organization, and he was in Carolina, which is close to being a disaster of an organization. So Brock Purdy, to his benefit, comes into a system with Kyle Shanahan and the laminated play sheet, and you look at what they have around him. Look at yesterday. McCaffrey a ton.
McCaffrey's so sick.
Debo Samuel. Tyler Kroft got to eat. And
could have ate more.
Oh, boy.
Think about
could have ate more.
If that was Jimmy, we would have cooked him for 4 days for missing that throw.
The first down, and I just but that's where, like,
oh my
he's
God.
wide open. I'm like, who cares? Just get the first
Just
down.
get the first.
And just keep it moving.
If one of the four of us was ever going to complete a pass in the National Football League, that was the moment.
Yeah, seriously.
That was the moment. I mean, not to say that we ever could, not to say that we would have seen it, but when you see it, even before they went to the replay, it's like, throw it,
I know. Well, Ayuk earlier, the play before the Jimmy injury, Ayuk, you could see he's visually frustrated.
Because he was dominating in that game. He was on fire.
He was on
fire. And Jimmy made a hell of a play to scramble, step up, and throw that little lob wheel route. I mean, he's wide open, but
third
to
down,
McCaffrey,
too.
he hit
It's a
him in
big third
stride.
down.
That was a great play. It's just
the last big play he'll ever make in the red and gold.
You think?
Yes.
We've said that before.
I've said it too.
Probably, but it's been probably 5 times before.
But you know,
we're not going to go
is,
there today, but just
when
thank
I
you,
saw the
Jimmy.
ankle fold, I was like,
but if it was, and I said this at the top of the show, and I hate saying it, but it's kind of fitting if that was his last play. Because this tenure's been marred by injuries.
Yeah.
2018, season-ending injury.
Sucks.
2020, same team against the Miami Dolphins. Then he tries to go up in Seattle and play, couldn't make it through the game.
Wow.
And then, of course, last year he labors through the end of the season.
And Jimmy G gets the win yesterday, too. Let's remember that. And this is where, if we want to talk, if I can spend 15 seconds on the joke that is the QB win stat. So Jimmy G gets the win. Deshaun Watson gets the win. Off a fumble 6, a pick 6,
he threw
and
one
a kick 6.
in the red zone.
He was god-awful, yet put that in the win column for old Deshaun.
Against Kyle Allen, who we were talking in our I'm not even going to go down that road. How he keeps getting jobs. The thing with the Niners, the Niners defense yesterday, watching Greenlaw and Warner make plays, watching Bosa, watching Diamond or Lenore make plays.
Bosa with the second Rooney.
They look incredible. And Eric Armstead coming back. Look, hey, I underestimated his impact. He looked phenomenal.
So this is what's important to think about now with someone like Brock Purdy, because everyone's going to focus on, okay, what do we see with this player? Well, this player is surrounded by the best defense in the NFL.
I agree.
This player is surrounded by, and I know this will trigger some people, someone who I think is an excellent play caller and schemer.
But that's not debatable. He's good. He's really good. Even if you think he stinks, he's really, really good.
And he is surrounded by an offense that is littered with stars.
Exactly.
So
hey, the CMC trade,
right?
That guy's looking incredible for this team.
So, Brock Purdy, like this idea, and I heard you guys talk about it a lot.
I do nothing.
You're grinning like I told all y'all. Just the smugometer over there was off the charts. That's why I was smiling.
No, I wanted to answer this. I wanted to answer this when you guys kept asking it this morning with regard to can they still win the division?
That's the key. Division.
I highly expect them to.
It's tough to go up to Seattle.
I expect them to.
Week.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Oh no, I'm
taking it week by week.
This guy needs to.
We're going to Arizona in February. That's it.
Well, no, I'm not. Forget playoffs. But this guy.
You got an Airbnb.
I was thinking.
I didn't put a deposit down.
These 5 games left with that defense, you don't think they can go 3-2?
Just winning in Seattle has been so difficult for this organization.
They don't even need to.
You have to win that game to win the division.
Incorrect. Like highly, highly incorrect. First of all, Seattle does not automatically gain the tiebreaker by winning that game.
That feels like a swing
Secondly, look at Seattle and what they've done the last 3 weeks. They beat a Rams team yesterday with a
division game.
Last-second play.
They had no players.
Hey, Seattle's looked terrible for some
effort. But you know what? It's a gutsy Rams effort. That was probably their Super Bowl for the end of the year. And they won the game. I don't care how you win, Mark. We just talked about the Niners winning 13-0. What was the conversation we had last week?
Fair.
Win games.
But you're presupposing
no
the idea.
points.
The idea that Seattle's going to pass them just with if they win the Thursday night game in a couple of weeks, Seattle still has to go to Kansas City.
No doubt.
Seattle still got to play the Jets.
At home,
like
though.
they're
At home.
No, at Kansas City.
No, I'm saying
Jets
at home
are
against
at
the
Jets
Jets.
at home. That's a hard game.
They play the Rams again at home. They play Carolina next
but
week.
Mark, you have to also
Seattle is going, in my opinion, 3-2 at best. If you go 3, like
No, I hear you. The
Seattle's
math
not
is
going to
there.
go 12 and like I do not think Seattle's going
Brock could
12
go
and 5.
down. Like we've
Brock
already
could go
lost
1-4.
two.
Brock could go
So,
1-4.
But Oakland's in the house, baby. Josh Johnson. Shout out Oakland, California. At
I
Oakland
thought you were
Tech.
going Horn Barbecue on me
And
for a
while
second.
we're talking Oakland, shout out McClymonds High, back to the state championship.
Yep, no
My
doubt.
main man, Curtis McCauley, my CPA,
Nice.
the defensive coordinator. They got it done, 503 yards on the
Yep.
ground. They threw the ball one time, Mark. I had to call him yesterday and say, dude,
One?
let your
One
QB
time,
throw
yeah.
the
One
pill.
time.
Check, eat your
What
heart
time?
out.
What happened
And
with that
Warriors.
throw, by the way?
It was complete.
Okay,
14
that's-
yards.
yeah.
They beat
QBR.
Lowe's former high school, the Moo,
Yep.
Lemoore High School.
Lemoore High School, yeah.
So McClymonds,
Trey
I
Lemoore.
think De La Salle,
De La
McClymonds, the
Salle.
only Bay Area teams going to the bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Sarah High School. They're
Oh,
playing
Sarah's-
St. John Bosco this
Sarah.
week.
In the open, my bad.
In the
Yeah,
open.
yeah,
De La
yeah.
Salle beat Folsom in Folsom.
Which is a huge win.
Gutsy win.
Huge win.
Gutsy win for De
I've
La
been there
Salle.
when it's cold, by the way. It was about 28 degrees there. That's a cold field.
looked
Yeah,
nasty.
your
Cool
boy
off that.
shivered out there on the
Yeah, it
sidelines.
looked nasty
Yeah,
out there.
in
Shout
In
out
his
De La Salle.
three-piece suit.
I was going to say, did you have the leather
Shout out to my-
gloves?
Dude, of course. The
Shout out to my
beanie.
nephew, Mr. Jefferson, a freshman starting on that team at quarterback, beating Folsom. They some big
Nice.
plays there, so they're going to the
And
state.
shout out your boy Wet in this rainy weather. I was thinking about him earlier. I'm like, you know what? It's wet out here. It's
speaking
actually wet.
Speaking
Can't
of
wait
wet,
to tell
wet,
Monte.
he already sent me a text. You think we should go get Baker? And I'm just like, just chill.
That's a pass on
I haven't
Baker.
even responded to you yet.
Well,
but hey, your
Turn
answer's
off the
here on the
oven.
air.
We're not getting Baker.
What do you guys think?
The
What-
fit,
just go
because
ahead and
the
answer. What do you think?
personality, to me, the personality in this locker room is very important. They've said that for like 6 straight years. That's why Ruben's not here. That's why a lot of guys aren't here. So if you can't get along with guys in the locker room, I think they're really worried. Now, they're desperate. So desperate times call for crazy measures. They got a firsthand look at Baker. Was anyone impressed with him?
No.
You'd have to learn the system.
Oh.
I don't know.
That's the thing.
Shout out Lincoln
I'm
High School
out.
going to
I'm
state as
out
well
on
in the
Baker.
city.
Yeah.
Lincoln High School going to state championship
Oh,
as well.
nice.
They host a game Saturday at Keysar against
Ferrigno.
Crenshaw.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Go
hosting that.
Mustangs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're hosting, yep.
It took a lot for you, too, because you're a Washington guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've won the Bell
The
game
Eagles,
like
yeah.
10 years in a row. They smoked us this year.
What, you like Baker?
No. I'm hard
Okay.
out.
Yeah,
I'm hard
I'm
out. I
out
think
on
there's
him.
so many reasons why it doesn't work. The locker room thing is one of them. But here's another one I find fascinating, and this goes well beyond Baker. It has been so well documented how difficult a Kyle Shanahan playbook is to master. Why on earth are all of you bringing up all these ideas of people who have never been with Kyle? And somehow you think that's going to – they've got a playoff game, I believe, in 6 weeks. Y'all – who are you talking about?
The only reason
it has to be someone who has been in this system. So that's Brock Purdy, that's Josh Johnson, and let's look around and see who else. But this idea
Maybe
that
Easton?
somebody else is going to come in
I'm
here,
just
learn
sick
this
of Easton.
system, and play in the playoffs in 6 weeks is absurd to me.
The only reason why people suggest that, and I agree with you, Mark, but Jimmy did have like 3 weeks. What was it in 2017?
He's been it was 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
The
but
third week,
I
I
thought
think,
you
is
were
when
talking
he
about this
came
year.
in.
My
Yeah.
bad. Yeah,
The
yeah.
third week is when he
Third
came
week.
in
Yes,
and
the third
played.
week is when he came in.
Yeah.
But
They're
again,
playing
they had
garbage
nothing to play.
games. They're
Exactly.
playing garbage games.
And it was a stripped down playbook.
Right.
But I think that's what a lot of people, this guy did it. But like you can't correlate the two.
And then I'll trigger all those people by saying, by the way, that happens to be Jimmy Garoppolo, who's been a very successful NFL quarterback. You're not going to go find a successful NFL starting quarterback just sitting here ready to walk onto your field, give him a month in the system, and right after Christmas, unwrap him and go, let's go win a Super Bowl. That doesn't exist. And shouldn't there be some optimism based on what you saw yesterday at minimum?
So let me ask you, Mark.
But it's
not,
insurance policy is the discussion.
that's fine.
Brock Purdy's your
That's
starter.
fine.
There's no doubt
They're
about
going to
it.
get
Let
insurance
me ask you,
policies.
Mark.
But let's see. Don't you want to see more after yesterday?
What's going to happen in January with Brock Purdy? Can he do the unthinkable?
I mean,
and help this team get to the Super Bowl?
probably
Shout out
not.
Alicia Keys.
Probably not.
Hey,
but
I just want him to win in
what-
Seattle. I don't even care about January. Qualify for the playoffs would be a great accomplishment, and let's just see where it goes.
Why not in January?
So
That's
we
what
all,
I'm asking.
if Nick Foles can do it in January
and
in his
Hostetler
own way,
and Brady once upon a time who got the job the exact same way.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't see why not. If
Like,
you have this
probably not.
defense, if you have
No
this
rookies
many
ever
weapons-
never won a Super Bowl.
But if you look at all these other quarterbacks who were able to do it as backups, compare them to the weaponry that this team has and the nasty defense, if Brock Purdy doesn't make mistakes, There's no reason why they can't still win the Super Bowl.
The difference in all those other cases is that those guys were seasoned veterans for the most part. Like Hostetler had
Foles wasn't a seasoned veteran.
Foles was a third-round draft pick.
Foles was like a 7-year vet.
Yeah,
Foles was a
7-year vet.
He was there for a minute.
Brady wasn't.
Yeah, he was a third-round pick.
Remember
Brady
Foles
wasn't.
7 touchdown passes at the Coliseum in like
he
2012
was a second-year player, but
and he's Brady.
Stands.
Like, I
and
get
he also
it.
played in huge games at Michigan.
We're not asking Brock Purdy to suddenly become the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm not. I get it.
But we forget that Tom Brady was a game manager that year. He was a game manager.
Antoine Smith.
The answer is probably not, Bonte. But again, let's go week by week. I'm certainly intrigued and impressed by what we saw yesterday. I would think everybody else is too, enough to be like, okay, let's see what this guy can do next. I mean, the idea that he's going to go beat Jalen Hurts on the road sounds a little crazy right now.
Of course.
But here's the other side to this. The 49er defense went into yesterday's game being asked, okay, who are you? Are you the team we watched the last month, or are you the team that Kansas City ran up and down the field? They answered it. This team is going to be in every game because their defense will not allow any game to get away from them. I firmly believe that.
Their D-line was amazing.
Someone's going to have to beat that defense.
Yeah.
And so whoever your quarterback is, and we've been saying this about Jimmy for 5 years now, you don't have to be great.
No.
You need to score 24 points.
And it's the lack of backbreaking turnovers, right? Like so, and having a lot of opportunities when you throw the ball around the field. And I'm sure the game plan will be different next week, but he threw the ball 37 times and had the 1 4th down, which was like a punt, whatever. I'm not
fine.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it was you didn't have the turnover-worthy plays, and that's the most important, no matter who the quarterback is.
And what he had going for him is, obviously, nobody prepared for Brock Purdy.
At all.
So now you've got a little film, and 2 of your next 3 defenses that you're playing are very good defense.
And these linebackers match up with Debo and CMC. I'm a little worried.
The Commanders' defense is real.
I'm all in.
And that's with no chase.
Yeah,
I'm all in on the Commanders.
Yeah,
that's a tough game on Christmas Eve.
That's going to be Christmas Eve, yeah.
Boy, just get to the playoffs.
But I think they will.
I can't see how they don't right now.
I really do.
Unless he suddenly becomes god-awful, this defense and this running game are good enough. And if Kyle Shanahan is the boy genius that we all trumpet him to be, now you can game plan around a different quarterback. And you know what Brock Purdy's strengths are. And your team, by the way, right now, your offense is humming. Brandon Ayuk is the real wide receiver 1. Debo Samuel is the Army knife. Christian McCaffrey, whatever with the knee soreness, I don't want to hear it again.
Looked great. Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason. Come on.
He's Marshawn Lynch.
This is what I do worry about.
He's a monster. Junior people. Come on.
Before we get out of here, this is what I do worry about, though. That Tampa Bay game next week is going to be very physical. Now, how much will they have left in the tank after tonight's Monday night game against the Saints? Short week for them.
That's a
cross-country
game
flight,
too. Yep.
Division game. The Saints hate them. They hate the Saints. They come out here. It's going to be physical. And then the Niners have to turn around and play a division game on Thursday night on a short week after a body bag game against Tampa Bay. How much will they have left in the tank? That's where I get concerned about Debo and the quad. Christian McCaffrey, the knee irritation. Trent Williams, he was on the injury report yesterday all of a sudden. So
he had a back issue in practice.
Yeah, back issue. So
he looked pretty good in that game, though.
Yeah,
he was.
You split the next 2, and then you look at the final stretch where you've got Washington, you've got Arizona again. You've got
hopefully Arizona's season's over. Like they fired the coach.
They'll be going to Cabo.
They're in tank mode.
I need to watch.
That's what I'm hoping.
Have some fun here. What do you think happens? And I know we don't get it yet because they play tonight. What do you think the spread will be?
Niners Bucks.
Bucks.
Already saw it.
It's
what
out?
Is it? What is it?
Well, somebody told me it was.
Well, they have look-ahead lines always.
Yeah.
Look ahead, but that's going to adjust based on what we see tonight.
Niners would be favored by probably 2.5.
And
I would imagine.
The home team gets 3
automatically.
So then it'd be Tampa by 1 or whatever. I mean, is that how they do the math?
Usually.
Okay,
based on what we've watched this year, how the hell are the Bucks going to get north of 15 points on this defense?
They have no
I think
Fournette.
That's so incredibly valuable.
The Bucks don't get north of 15 against anybody for the most part.
I mean,
since
the
week
Bucks,
1.
That offense is
this was like 49ers.
And no worse.
If Tristan Wirfs going to be out, so the defensive line should dominate next week. You may be able to win with 17 points next week against Brady.
I think Bosa might have won DPOY last night, Defensive Player of the Year, with the Saccaroni and I know that they had no tackles.
Michael wasn't bad either.
Dude, 3 sacks and a forced fumble.
I'm with you.
I mean,
he's at the top of the conversation, but he's still You got to add to it.
No, he's in a group of 4 or 5.
Right.
And
Yes.
you look at what Max Crosby's doing with a rejuvenated Raider team.
Hey.
Shout out Spadoni.
I was hoping that New Year's Day game wouldn't matter for them,
Right.
and now it's like that might be a body bag game.
Josh Jacobs throws hard, man.
Yeah, and they might be playing for a playoff spot
Exactly.
themselves.
No
They're
doubt.
back in it.
So Adam Snyder coming up. What else you guys got?
Yeah, we want to answer these same questions. I mean, I'd love to hear from people with regard to how this does sort of adjust your expectations, what we saw from Brock, what other moves would you like to see the 49ers make? We'll get into all of that. And then one of the other reasons, though, not just that Snyder knows Brock Purdy since he was this high, but he was expressing some excitement. He's just like, wait till you see. Wait till you see.
Well, I can't wait to listen.
So-
Willard and Dibs coming up here on 95, 7 a game.